Sup dudes, it's Amada, and you may be thinking, is ranking 4 things deserve its own video? Shut up man, I need this, and Deltarune's video the only one that did remotely well. So if Undertale just turned 10, what better time to not talk about Undertale, instead talk about its sequel slash whatever the hell Deltarune is. Deltarune right now is split into 4 chapters, and even though they are all high quality, some are worse than others. Looking at you, Chapter 1. So let's see which are the best and which are the worst. To help me rank these, I have the handy dandy Deltarune chapter review thingy. It's not very multifunctional. It has 30 points on it, and each of these points are gained from 6 categories, where each one can get 5 points. Those are the story of the chapter and how interesting it is, and what it adds to the lore of Deltarune. You know that thing MatPat yaps about?
Troubles, I won't force you though. I'll have one on your behalf.
Thanks, smiley face.
Smiley face.
Smiley face, slightly blushing. I'll catch up with you some other time. And don't overdo it. Watch your calories.
Don't you tell me how many calories I need.
The bosses and enemies and how fun they are. The music and how much of a goddamn banger it is. The comedy, and how much Chapter 4 is going to lose hard in this category. The bonus gameplay elements like exploration and secret boss route, and the location of the setting of the chapter. So let's kick it off with number 4, Chapter 1. Man, looking back, Chapter 1 was weird. On one hand, yes, it is still similar to the rest of Deltarune, but there's so many weird little things about it. There's no act moves for Susie or Rouse, a weird target thing that shows who's being attacked. Okay, why was this one even removed? This is low-key nice. I was totally expecting that with chapters 3 and 4, they'd sort of remaster this chapter, you know, touch up the graphics, mechanics, make it closer to future chapters. But no, instead this is some weird amalgamation of abandoned gameplay mechanics and ideas, which is gonna be even weirder when this game's complete in like 200 years time. God, I'm never gonna see the end of this game. But hey, let's talk about the chapter itself. I gave it a really high story score, mainly because it does a simply great job introducing us to the world of Deltarune. Any first chapter has a lot of work to do. It has to introduce everything it wants to, which is often a lot, and some games really stumble here and fall flat on their face. However, Deltarune introduces everything so well at a quick and stable pace that never introduces too much at once. The opening for one is extremely strong, with how many questions it gives you with the whole vessel creation thing, plus so much more about this game's connections to Undertale. It introduces you to the main life of these characters so well. Then you enter the Dark World and it manages to be well explained, but also leaving tons of questions behind, making for an interesting topic to theorize about, which is something Deltarune fans do a lot. These people are crazy. On top of all the introduction stuff, this game also has time for a full-on arc for one of its characters. Susie goes from a complete jerk who's low-key annoying to not that. And it's done super well with her relationship with Lancer. Other characters like Rouse are also given a decent bit to do. And some characters like Rules and the King are also really fun. And the end of the chapter is nothing short of shocking, even all these years later. Like, Chris might be a little messed up. I can't believe Kara made them do that. However, the chapter struggles a bit at the other categories. Not to say the bosses are bad, but they aren't incredible either. The main bosses are K-Round, Weasel, and the King. That's a pretty low count. Yes, there are other bosses, including a boss refight, but let's be real. I'm the only one brave enough to count Lancer's Hathies as a boss fight. There is a Susie and Lancer fight, but it's a little basic, and compared to other ones, it's not much to note about. King Round's a bit similar, but his theme is an absolute banger, and the bit about the almond milk makes me laugh to this day. Weasel is an absolutely peak fight. I don't think I need to explain this. I mean, he can do anything besides appear in other chapters. The King is a really solid fight, with some good gameplay that acts as a solid first road bump in the game's difficulty. And the enemies are fine, however a lot of them are just reskinned later in the game, with new attacks like the head Hathies. And this makes for a really boring situation because, believe it or not, these two fights are pretty similar. I just wish there was more variety. I would say my favorite enemy is probably the Bloxors, since they're most unique. They have a solid minigame attached to them, but none of the other enemies have anything similar. Thankfully, the music as is the nature of Deltarune, is nothing short of a banger. Fields of Hope and Dreams is simply iconic. Checker Dance is a bop alongside the other boss themes. And World Revolving is one of the best tracks in the entire game, giving us the iconic freedom motif that I'm starting to hear everywhere. I'm going insane, help me. This and the Savage Beast Fly, I think I'm gonna be insane as time by the end of the year. However, there are some areas that lack strong themes, like the forest and the castle. It being, in my opinion, a little bland, which is what keeps it from a perfect 5. And the comedy, though it is extremely funny, at other times, it just lacks consistency, to be honest. I just feel like the other chapters are more funny more often, but the gameplay is also a little weak too. There are some solid puzzles, like the tree one with the weirder sprite and all of Deltarune. Like, seriously, Toby, what is this? Rules puzzles are nothing short of funny and genius. Like, I can't figure this out, help me. Plus, Jevel was an okay secret route, but the other ones in the game are a little better, with way more clever puzzles. And the setting is okay. However, it struggles to stand out. The forest and field feel very similar, and the castle looks so bland. It's just black and white. Wow, would it kill you to add some color? I would say the best area visually is the grand chessboard, but it's so small and with little to explore. It hardly feels like a major area. Overall, it's still a great chapter, but in comparison to the rest of the game, Chapter 1 hardly compares to the rest of it. Number 2, Chapter 3. Chapter 3 sadly isn't as strong as the rest. First of all, the story is good, just for the ending alone. Finally getting to see the roaring speed bump come out of nowhere is still so shocking. And man, I'm so glad Chapter 4 came out at the same time, because this cliffhanger genuinely would have been agonizing. On top of that, the story before the roadkill appears is also great too. Tenna, for one, is a simply great character, and seeing him being slimed at the end genuinely got me more emotional than any other piece of media. Plus, if you do the secret boss route, the amount of lore added is genuinely insane, and the hints to the weird route are super neat. I love how it builds up the passive dreamer family. It really does seem so heartbreaking and depressing. Only if Asgore didn't have to run over that deer after 7 beers. Damn, that was fire riding. Holy shit, I'm good at this. However, in comparison to the other chapters, like the other chapters just have so much more going on. However, one of the weaker elements is the bosses and enemies. The bosses it does have are great, especially Tenna in the Night. In fact, Tenna is far and away my favorite boss in the game, with the WarioWare-esque gameplay. It's genuinely the most fun you can have in this game. The Knight is also a great fight due to how challenging it is, making for a memorable encounter. If only we had a truck, this might be a lot easier. However, the other fights aren't anything crazy, and there also isn't a lot of them. Uram is a unique fight, but it just didn't click with me. The rules fight is decent, but it's not challenging, but it is really funny. I have it this laser pointer is the funniest thing I've heard all year. But a really damning aspect of the combat in this chapter is the enemies, or a lack of them. There's very little enemy types in this chapter. You'll often be fighting the same shadow enemies over and over again. Shudda is a fun enemy, but man, that's like the only fun one to really fight. Because the Shadow Men, though fun for the first time, you fight them so many times. I can only remember 3 enemies here, which is not a good thing. The music is also a bop for most of the tracks. Both TV Time and TV World I listen to daily. And the main board themes are good too, and the rhythm game song is genuinely such a bop. But outside of those great themes, there's not a ton of them, leading to a good selection, but a small one. But Dig Dig to the Center of the Earth does go really hard. Maybe only be 9 seconds, but man, best 9 seconds of my life. But if there's one thing Chapter 3 is the king of, it's the comedy. This is far and away the funniest chapter of all of Deltarune, mainly thanks to Tenna. Tenna is just one of the funniest characters in all of fiction. The opening scene of Tenna's dumbass intro might be the funniest thing in any video game, and I wish I had my reaction to this. No, I didn't. Just be me screaming non-stop. That's not fun. On top of that, even among the fun game, there's a lot of good bits here, like Susie switching to controllers, pushing friends, and Susie just chucking Rouse. Based. Lancer is also right in this chapter. I mean, I already mentioned the Dig Dig song. Come on. And the laser pointer bit, man, This game's not even real. Absolute cinema. Another thing this chapter excels out is the gameplay outside of battles. Each board is great to have, and do a lot to shake up the gameplay. The main thing that makes the gameplay so great is the minigames. The cooking one is super fun to go for high scores, and the same can go for the rhythm minigame. With my only complaint is I wish there's more tracks for it. Like, only 3? Come on. Why can't I do this to a song that plays when you kill Birdly? Come on. You suck, Toby. Now, the setting is where this chapter stumbles yet again. Half the chapter just takes place in a digital TV place. And it's cool at first, but it all blends together. As much as I loved how fun they were, really glad that third board got cut. It would have ruined the pacing even more. But outside of these areas, the other areas also don't stand out a ton. Like, I wish we got to explore the outskirts of the station a bit more, instead of just exploring the sets. Or if not, give us the actual sets to explore. Like, we got this full-on Western minigame, but why don't we just explore the full Western area? Chapter 3 is good, but in comparison to everything else, it could have been a lot more. Okay, that's 2 chapters down. How long is this video? Oh my god. I need to stop yapping. Jesus Christ. Number 2, chapter 2. Yes, chapter 2 is number 2. I see the coincidence. Haha, very funny. The story of chapter 2 is really good. I love moments like the Ferris wheel scene, and the added bits about the lore is really cool too, but this doesn't do as much as chapters 1 and 4. A very similar situation in chapter 3. The characters are also great though. I love seeing more Lightners enter the Dark World alongside Chris and Susie. I hope they do this more in the future, because I guess chapter 3 did do it, but like, Tori was asleep the entire game, who cares? Queen is also a great antagonist, being fun but also menacing. And she's probably a better character, but come on, Tana's cooler, we all can agree, right? And Spamton, do I even need to explain why Spamton is the #1 rated salesman? Come on. On top of that, the Snowgrave route leads to a darker yet darker universe of Deltarune. It's so cool. I'd argue that chapter 4 goes above and beyond with this, but man, this chapter is still cooking here. And it does way more incredible things than Undertale's Genocide route, to be fair. However, the main thing I love about this chapter is the bosses. What a lineup. Not only do you have Spamton G. Spamton and both his incredible fights, including the So Grave Genocide one, you also have both the fun Queen fights, the Birdly fights, and the Patty Task Manager.
Bruh.
It's just simply a great lineup with no notes here. And the enemies are also really good too, with so many of them. You have these stupid spam guys, why can't I say mice? There, the mice, the ambulances, and the best chapter 2 enemy, heck, the best enemy in all of Deltarune, Pippus. What a goat. The music is also the craziest bop of all time. Tracks like Attack for the Killer Queen and Knock You Down are both great boss themes. Both of Spamton's themes are absolute bops. It led to one of the greatest music tracks of all time, Big Shot with lyrics.
G Spamton, that's my fucking name. I am secret boss in Deltarune game. This is chapter 2, before chapter 3. After chapter 1, I can't count past 3.
Plus, A Cyber's World is a great theme too, and Pandora Palace is so peak, man. Another thing this chapter soars at is comedy. God damn, this chapter's funny. Not only is every character extremely funny, there's so many hilarious bits. Like, do I need to explain why the banana jokes are hilarious and the stupid shovels fill up Chris's room? Like, man, I wish I was as funny. And maybe I have more than 306 subscribers. I'm so cooked, man. Gameplay is another great thing this chapter does so darn well. The fighting minigame, though easy, is a neat addition. I love the ward puzzles, and unlocking Spamton is nothing short of perfection. And having Snowgrave here too leads to so many new choices. On top of that, the setting is just so creative. All of the areas of the internet are turned into these physical locations. It's so genius, and each area stands out so much. Unlike other chapters, each location feels so separate from each other, leading to a unique and memorable places to explore. Just an incredible chapter all around. But there is one better, and it's also really obvious that I was going to be #1 the whole time. I mean, come on. #1, Chapter 4. Wow, Chapter 4, #1? I could have never predicted that. If Deltarune Chapter 2 is a 10 out of 10, Chapter 4 might be the greatest thing anyone's ever made. First of all, the story is so perfect. So many details are revealed about the characters here, from learning about Noelle's home life to the mystery of Des. and Chris's relationship with his soul, and everything with a prophecy. If there's one part of the game that made me realize this game's story is gonna be cracked, it was the ending of this chapter. It almost got choked up and gave me chills, man. There's something so melancholic about it. After Chris has the worst day of their life, they come home to their drunk ass mom after risking their life to save her, and then they're barely even able to go to sleep as the reality of everything dawns on them after this person gives them one last call, reminding them of the task ahead. It's chilling. Plus, the added details of Snowgrave here are great too. I don't want to spoil them, but man, some of the stuff in this game is something else, man. I can't even explain it. And also, this wasn't a category, but the visuals here are jaw-dropping. I mean, look at this. This is why I wanted Chapter 1 to be remastered. An Undertale 2, that'd be amazing. The bosses and enemies are also great. Gerson Mother Ducking Boom is great, if a bit too easy for my liking. And same goes for Jacobstein. The Titan, though one of the weaker ending fights for a chapter, is still really cinematic. However, due to a decent selection of enemies too, it managed to be better in Chapter 3 in this category. The one thing this chapter does like no other is the soundtrack. When I first heard First Sanctuary, my jaw dropped about how beautiful it is. And the unique battle theme for this chapter really gives it a level of importance no other chapter has. It really makes each battle here feel so important. You also have Hammer of Justice, and I don't need to explain why his version goes so hard. And Need a Hand is also iconic. I mean, it gave us this song.
I am him, and I completely own you like a piv. Now let's go, kill the hoe. Come on, Susie, let's kill this fucker. Let's go.
Even better than the Spamton one. And second and third Sanctuary are genuinely works of art. This chapter's music is simply on a whole new level. Even smaller tracks like Ever Higher go hard as hell. Now there is one category Chapter 4 sadly falters in. It's the comedy. To be fair, it's not like Chapter 4 isn't unfunny. It's also not trying to be the funniest chapter. Chapter 4 is just super serious. It's probably why Chapter 3 is so funny, because Toby need to get all his jokes out. Not to say Chapter 4 isn't still hilarious. I mean, You're Taking Too Long is iconic. And I'm Old is the greatest thing anyone's ever written. Outside of those great bits though, the chapter didn't make me laugh enough, honestly. And just in comparison to everything else in the game, it just comes across as lesser. But the gameplay is just incredible. All the piano sections are great, especially when you're dashing alongside of it. It's super cool. The climbing is also shockingly fun. The gameplay is just perfect. No notes. It's Deltarune at its best. And the setting is gorgeous. There's not a better looking area in the game. I mean, look at some of these places, man. My only complaint about the setting is that some areas blend together, but man, who cares? Does it matter when every area is visual eye candy? And for all of these reasons and even more, Chapter 4 is by far the best chapter in all of Deltarune. So, there's my list. Do you agree or disagree? Anyways, it's been real. And guess what? I got exclusive sneak peek of Chapter 5. I know. You wanna see it? Well, here it is.